Ho, 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 ho. Oh, oh, ah, 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 ah. Who remembers that? Jabba the Hutt. um, well, folks, the transcript of the president and Ukraine's president Zelensky is now up. I will link it in the ticker connected to this podcast. Folks, the Democrats want to impeach President Trump because he had a conversation with a foreign president in which he asked for a favor about what happened with CrowdStrike, and that there's a server allegedly over there, and there's some corruption connected to that, and there's some corruption connected to a Ukrainian company with some people from the United States that maybe were involved in it. Um, and he did mention Biden's son, and that Biden stopped the prosecution. And a lot of people want to find out. I'm just going to quote this. The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into that, it sounds horrible to me. Folks, if you can be impeached for quoting the Vice President of the United States, who sat in a meeting of the CFR and bragged that he shut down a investigation by a prosecutor by getting the prosecutor fired in return for $1 billion. If you can be impeached for that, for quoting a now presidential candidate's own words, yeah, I think not. Tell me what's impeachable about that sort of a comment and that sort of a request. Maybe you could explain that one to me. Secondly, let's. By the way, the Democrats went crazy and Pelosi did her little song and dance, which, by the way, is not an impeachment until it's voted upon that there's actually an impeachment investigation. It has to be voted upon by the House of Representatives to commence that. All right, you cannot do that as a individual. The Speaker of the House does not have the authority to unilaterally declare an impeachment investigation. She has to take a vote. The House of Representatives, she does not stand as the unitary voice of the House of Representatives. She is the Speaker. She is the presider, if you will, over the House of Representatives. She has to take a vote, which she hasn't done. I am becoming increasingly convinced that the left in this country wants a civil war, a real one. Not a political war of words, but a real no bullshit civil war. And they are trying to goad people on the far right into starting it. I don't believe they will succeed in doing that. What I think they're going to end up succeeding in doing, and it's a terrible thing if it happens, is they're going to goad the far left into starting it. And I'm not talking about wars of words or political wars. I'm talking about the real kind, the kind that are conducted with guns and bullets and all kinds of other bad things. And why do I say the left is going to start it? Because the left is completely unhinged. This sort of scream fest out of Schiff and the Squad and the rest of these folks, and Pelosi, nobody is above the law. Oh, really? Nobody's above the law? You mean like Hunter Biden? Like Joe Biden? Shall we talk about the Chinese? Should we talk about Hunter flying on Air Force Two? By what possible justification does the son of the vice president accompany the vice president to a foreign country, and about a month later, he gets a contract to manage $1 billion worth of foreign funds from that country? With what qualifications did he earn that? And oh, by the way, By what right did Joe Biden take a military aircraft paid for by the taxpayers over to China to what looks like to solicit business for his son? People talk about emoluments and Trump owning properties and Air Force people staying in Trump's hotels when they're on deployment, which, by the way, the specific policy has said that was okay to do. And in that specific hotel, we're talking about Turnberry, that was Obama who approved that. And air crews and how they do this, more and a little familiar with it because I have a whole lot of friends that are in that business. I kind of live in the area where we have a lot of Air Force, right down here by Eglin. That's mostly a function of convenience. It's you have a per diem if you want to spend it all at this particular hotel that will take your per diem and give you a room, then that's great. Some airmen are like, well, I have a per diem. It's this much money. I'll stay in the rat-infested place down the street, and because that way, the rest of the per diem's mine. Maybe I want to spend it on some food or, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that either. But, hey, we got this we got this political game going on. So, the thing I wrote last night and put up this morning that snapped, the trap just closed. The Democrats appear to have stepped on a yellow jacket nest in the ground. And I don't know where they get the idea that all the Hornets are going to come out and sting the president. It certainly appears that if anybody's going to get stung here, it's going to be Joe Biden. And frankly, I would like to see not just Joe Biden stung, I would like to see a whole lot of other people stung. All right. I would like to know on what predicate and on what basis we have a republic when you have people running around today saying we have to impeach this SOB, a.k.a. Trump, because we can't beat him at the polls. All right. Now, that is not the same thing as saying I believe this man has committed impeachable crimes. All right. High crimes and misdemeanors, by the way, is a political statement. It is not a criminal felonious statement. It's always been that way. What is a high crime and a misdemeanor? It's up to Congress. It's not defined in the statute. Treason, obviously, would be one of them. But exactly what high crimes and misdemeanors are is a political question. Always has been, always shall be, always should be. But when you have members of our Congress that actually stand up and say in public, and this is documented and on tape, we can't beat this SOB at the polls. We have to impeach him. Folks, that says we no longer have a republic. We no longer respect the outcome of elections. For a long time now, the people on the left have screamed that the right of center folks in this country will not respect electoral results. Well, you just had people on the left declare that not only do they not respect electoral results, that they're willing to do anything and everything in their power to overturn them. You want to start a civil war? This is one way to do it. But I don't believe that the people on the right are dumb enough to take the bait and start the shooting. I do, however, believe that the Antifa and other crazies on the left very well might be. And if and when that happens, when the smoke has cleared, and it may be a good long time, and there may be an awful lot of smoke too, which will be a horrible thing for this country. It'll be a horrible thing for everybody in it. I hope that those people on the left who have run around and made these statements, which are ridiculously incompetent at a mental level, they're deranged, I hope they're held to account. Because there is absolutely no basis for the scream fest that's going on based on this document. I'm looking at it right now. You can all go look at it, folks. It's 5 pages. It doesn't take you more than a couple of minutes to read. There's no there. So how about an apology out of Nancy Pelosi? You know you're not going to get one. You're not going to get one out of Schiff either. So we'll see how this all plays out, folks. But that's my political update for the morning. I'm your ticker guy, and that's my view.